Hey everybody, it's Gina. We're back in the kitchen today and we are going to be making some corn chowder. I've already cooked my bacon, so I have a little bit of bacon grease left in the bottom of my pan here. I always try to use the same pan to cook in, that way I'm not cooking up, having as many dishes afterwards. So we're going to add in, that's a medium size onion. And I'm just going to cook it here for a minute until it starts to turn clear. Or more clear than it is right now. Because it's raw. Sorry, y'all. I am doing all this one-handed. So, we are going to cook this. This won't take too awfully long because the eye is already on, the grease is already warm and stuff, so it won't take near as long to cook that up. The other stuff we're going to need today, and I'll give you a quick rundown of the other things that we're going to put in there. We're going to put some garlic. We're going to need 4 to 5 cups of water, chicken broth, vegetable broth, whatever you got. If you don't have anything but water, use water. It works just fine in here. We're also going to need 1/4 cup of flour, salt, pepper, smoked paprika, thyme, a cup of half and half heavy whipping cream. I've got 2% milk, y'all. That's what I've got in the house right now, so that's what we're going to use. I am going to see. There we go. That will help. So, I'm going to pause this real quick so I can take the lid off my jar of garlic. I do not mince my own. I get mine straight out of the jar, y'all. Okay, y'all. I added a couple cloves of garlic into my pan already, so I'm just showing y'all exactly what I'm using. Okay, y'all, those are starting to get fairly well cooked. We are going to go ahead and add in the 1/4 cup of just plain all-purpose regular run-of-the-mill flour. That is nothing, it's just plain flour. That's all there is to that. We are going to make sure to get that good and coated, and the reason being is the flour thickens the soup. That is what it's in there for. Just for those of you who may be brand new cookers and not know why I'm adding the flour, you want to add it in at this point, because if you add it in at the end, you're going to have it tasting like, well, raw flour. It needs to cook for about a minute in here. So, and I had 2 to 3 tablespoons, y'all, of bacon grease. It called for about a tablespoon and some butter, but I already had plenty of bacon grease, so I just used that instead. If you do have sodium issues, y'all, I think they do make lower sodium bacon and stuff as well. I'm pretty sure they do. You can adjust the salt, leave the salt out, whatever you need to do, just so you know, or you can use salt substitute, whatever it is that you need to use for yourself. So, anywho. And I'm just going to stir this around a little bit because I do want this to get good and cooked, because I don't want my soups tasting like raw flour. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to talk y'all a little bit ahead here. You will either need one of the old-fashioned potato mashers. You will need an immersion blender, a regular blender, something that you can kind of mash this up with. The old-fashioned potato mashers work well too, y'all. If you have nothing but that, you can get it done with that. So anyway, we are going to go on to our next step now. So for us, y'all, the next step is a quart of chicken broth. This is I'm using the full quart. We had a little bit less corn than my recipe I was using called for. It called for 8 ears. I only had 6, so I don't need as much liquid for everything else. So we've got that in. And I'm going to stir this around really well so that it does, so we can get any and all flour lumps out. They will boil out, so you can see a little bit on some of the pieces of onion here. As you cook it, you know, it will incorporate, so it's not like it's the end of the world if you don't get every single lump out right this second, because this is a chowder, and as such, you know, they cook for a while. Now, if you're making gravy, yeah, you want to get all the lumps out right then and there. This is a little bit different, so, and as you see, I'm still trying to bust up any lumps as much as possible, y'all. But this is also going to be mashed up, blended up, at the end as well. So, and as you can see, most of my onions are coming out without any flour attached or big lumps on it. And I'm going to raise my heat just a little bit. At this point, if I can get it out of here, I'm going to add in my corn and my potatoes. That was just 2 like decent sized potatoes, y'all. It says about a pound. I don't have like a kitchen scale to weigh it with, so I just took out a couple decent sized ones, and I'm trying to get all my corn out. So I'm gonna put this over in my sink, y'all. Now, I'll take this thing with chicken broth over, put that in the trash can, and now we've got to wait on this to cook. Also, at this point, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and put my smoked paprika and my thyme in. I'm saving my bacon and my milk till the very end because I don't want my milk to curdle. But I'm going to tell you, I've got smoked paprika, thyme leaves, salt, and pepper. That's all I'm putting in there. It's a little bit hard for me to do that one-handed, so I'm just telling you, 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of the smoked paprika. Salt and pepper are to taste. If you can't use salt or you can't use pepper, whatever, you know, then, you know, you can always leave those out. All right, y'all, we have got this finished. Everything is cooked through. And for those of y'all that don't know how to test, the potato easily cut through. That's how you know it's done. Next thing we need to do is add in our 1 cup of milk, half and half, heavy whipping cream, whatever you got. You know, a girl got to do what a girl got to do kind of deal. So at this point, I'm going to move over to my counter because I'm going to use my immersion blender to go ahead and make this into a creamier concoction here. So by the miracle, we will be over in my counter. We're over on my counter now. And yes, I've got an immersion blender. leave this as chunky or not chunky as you like. Okay, y'all. So I've got that, and it is pretty well blended up. Just so y'all can see, it's blended really well. And at this point, all I got to do is crumble some bacon in here, and we're good to go. Now, that being said, you can add as much or as little bacon as you would like. You don't have to have it at all. If you are vegetarian, you can do this with veggie bacon. If you are vegan, you can replace the milk and all that good stuff as well. So, again, this is one of those that you can kind of customize to fit your lifestyle and stuff. No big deal. So anyway, this is the end of this episode, y'all. I'll take a pic to do the thumbnail, and I hope y'all try this and enjoy it. As always, thanks for joining me in my kitchen today. If you haven't already, consider giving me a thumbs up, leaving me a comment as always, and thanks for coming today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.